My name is Dr. Kevin Pecca. I wanted to make a podcast that exposes people to the true miracles of life and health. All the guests on this show have been specially picked because they bring something positive to the world. They have some of the most amazing and inspiring life stories. These people have a passion for living, healing, and leaving the world better than they found it. There is something inside these people that made them keep fighting through all the tough times, even when people told them it was not possible. They carried on and made their lives beautiful again. And now they are sharing their experiences with the world. This is the Expect Miracles podcast. Enjoy the show. Today's episode, we have Dr. Ed Gigliotti. Dr. Ed is an upper cervical chiropractor of Upper Cervical Chiropractic of Rochester, New York. His website is uccrock.com. One day I was scrolling through YouTube and I saw the caption, "How Chiropractic Saved My Life." I clicked on the video and it was one of the most moving 6-minute video clips I've ever seen on Dr. Ed's amazing life story recovering from post-concussion syndrome, which led him to his destiny of becoming an upper cervical chiropractor. Please welcome Dr. Ed. Dr. Ed, how are you doing?
Very good. Thanks for hosting this, man. Really appreciate it.
I'm very excited for this episode because, like myself, I had a very similar story to you. Saw many different doctors, chiropractors, and everything, and it was a tough go, and I was watching a YouTube video, and it was just one of the most amazing videos I've ever seen. So just wanted to talk about like where you're from and everything and how you got into chiropractic. So Dr. Ed, where are you from?
Originally Canadian. So right now I'm in upstate New York, Rochester, New York, but I'm originally from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. So I'm a Canuck.
Gotcha. So when did you move to the States?
I moved here once I got into chiropractic college. So I was looking at all the different schools. I didn't know a difference between them. So I moved here at the end of 2009. It was August 2009 to get to Seneca Falls.
And so what made you want to pick the career path of being a chiropractor?
I had no idea, man. I was in school. I was going to go to teacher's college. And then I just finished my undergrad, Bachelor of Science. And something told me one day you got to be a chiropractor. So I sort of just go in 2 feet forward all the time. I just jump in and just like, that's it. Put all my transcripts into chiropractic colleges in the U.S. because they had rolling admission, so you could start at any time, and the rest is history.
So were you under chiropractic care your entire life, or?
No. I was at certain times in my life when I was younger, and even when I was like competing in martial arts and also playing soccer and everything, but it was very treatment based. It was only like when there's an issue, then go. Gotcha. So it was very like symptom based, determined on like what was even done that visit.
Yeah. So you were into martial arts as a kid?
Well, I started when I was about 18.
Okay.
Started when I was 18.
What did you start with?
I started with jiu-jitsu and judo, and then I slowly, after a back injury, I couldn't touch my toes for 10 months. I couldn't actually touch past my knees. Wow. I had a dimple on my back from actual, like, I don't know if the muscle tore or whatever, but it was really bad. So I ended up transitioning to striking. So within a year of doing jiu-jitsu and judo, I got pretty seriously into kickboxing and boxing.
Wow, so that's interesting. You couldn't really bend down, so you went to striking, and you were able to be mobile with that and everything? It didn't really affect the low back injury?
Yeah, no, not really. Like, it sucked every day. Like, it hurt every day, but I could compete. And I could fight, so I just kept doing it.
And I feel that's interesting that you brought that up because I feel like there's so many people out there just pushing through pain and they think it's normal. And because they learn to live with it. So I really want to talk about the injury that pretty much put you on the path you're on today. So please talk about how you got into upper cervical chiropractic.
So I was in chiropractic college, second to third trimester. So I was there for under a year. Woke up one day and didn't feel right. So I did what 99% of the people in this country do, where I was like, all right, it's fine. I'm just going to go to school that day and it'll pass. But I felt heaviness in my chest. Like I just didn't feel right.
Can you talk about all the symptoms you were, like you said you didn't feel right. So what was going on?
Yeah. That day I just felt off. There was no symptoms.
Really? Okay.
That day I felt off. I just didn't feel right, man. Like I felt like heavy. My chest didn't feel right. So I just went to school and my buddies were like, what's going on? You're not yourself today. Because I was quiet. Usually I'm like really talkative and disruptive. And I'm like, I'm all right. Just, give it till tomorrow. I'll be back on track. Next morning woke up and I was good. But everybody has a unique health story if they've ever had something happen. But my health symptom-wise plummeted within 2 months. Within 2 months, I had all these symptoms piling up, and they were getting worse and worse. So I was having all day, every day, right-sided headaches. I was having a sore throat every morning, burning on the whole right side of my chest, right knee instability, even post-surgical. like ACL reconstruction. I had SI joint issues. When I'd lay prone on the table, my pelvis was up about 1.5 inches. Right side was just like not touching the table. I had digestive issues. Anything I ate came straight out. I had vision issues. I couldn't see out of my peripherals. And colors didn't look right. I didn't realize how I got my life back after, but like my vision was dull. Everything seemed dull all the time. Also, which was the worst, was I started developing I probably always had some underlying amount. I was probably self-fixated for a long time, but I started getting like this pretty serious anxiety. Where I just couldn't stop my mind. So I'd be done. You guys have all been there, chiropractic college, or you might be there now. You're going through and you get home and I just couldn't shut my mind off. Like at school, I could hide it because I could just keep busy. But at home, when it was quiet, it sucked.
Yeah.
So you go through that for quite a while and you're not sleeping. I had insomnia. I wasn't sleeping more than 2 hours a night. I just felt like literally hell. Like I was just like always on the edge of just completely breaking. Developed depression, and then I had emotional numbness, and I had emotional numbness for a long time. So the only thing I could feel was fear itself.
Yeah.
Any other emotion was not something I could perceive. I couldn't perceive joy. I couldn't perceive excitement or love or anything like that. It was literally just fear. It was fear or nothing.
That's funny you mentioned the emotional numbness too, because I remember from all my concussion stuff, I remember being at my grandma's funeral, and my girlfriend at the time was like, "Aren't you upset?" Like, because I wasn't crying or anything, and I was like, I was just staring straight through everybody. I couldn't feel a damn thing, and it was like the emotional numbness. What you were talking about, it's just I didn't feel connected to anybody, and it was one of the worst feelings ever. And you kind of mentioned that with your wife and everything when you were going through all that stuff. Yeah, I completely connected with that.
Yeah, because when you have something like that happen, and these are our patients coming in, guys. These are 90% of the people, or not 90, but these are a lot of the people that you're meeting in public that put on a fake smile. But you'll put on a mask. But when you have that going on, it's very difficult to go on with life and not be severely worried, because the people that you're supposed to care most about, you don't care at all about, or you don't feel like you do.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to go on day to day, because relationships and communication is so much of our lives. So that was pretty tough. So I was like, okay, I got to do something about it. So I started going to the school first, all the practitioners at the school. It was all symptom based. So I went to these AK docs. I went to motion palpation, all different things, just wherever the symptoms were is where they looked. And they were trying to treat each individual symptom either through acupuncture, chiropractic, manipulation, because it wasn't adjustments, or through different supplements. All right? Go through that for a few months and was getting no results. So I started pulling money out of my school loans, and I was like, I got to go outside of the school.
Yep.
So I would drive to Ithaca or Rochester 2 times a week, and that was an hour each way, no matter those 2 cities. One was north and one was south. I started seeing craniosacral practitioners. I started seeing rolfers, EMDR for post-traumatic stress disorder, traditional Chinese medicine doctors, herbalists, different nutritionists, to counselors, to spiritual healers, to you name it, I tried it.
And question for you. So going through all this, were you connecting the dots at all of what might have caused this? Because you probably thought you were dying at this point, right?
I thought I was losing my life.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to die, but I thought I was going to live a miserable life my whole life. I thought there was no way out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did not connect the dots because it was all the symptoms.
Yeah.
You're just looking where the smoke is.
Yeah. Very true.
So I did that. After 2 years, I was like, you know what, forget it. It's not getting any better. It's getting worse. So I was having these episodes for about 3 months at a time, and I'd literally be like a light switch, and then all of a sudden I'd feel that I'd have 4 good days. And the good days, I couldn't remember what it was like to be bad. It was like the symptoms were just literally clear, within minutes, and then they'd be gone for 4 days, and then they'd be back within 4 minutes, and then stay there for a month or more.
Just an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, that's for sure. So I just gave up. I gave up on myself. I said, forget it. I'm going to help other people, and I'm just going to keep pushing through. And there's a lot of chiros right now that are doing this. I know that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chiropractors right now that their health isn't where they're at, their emotional well-being, their spiritual well-being. And I know this because we actually get a lot of them under care.
Yeah, true.
We actually have bred a lot more upper cervical docs, and we're going to get into this more. But because they come here and they get their life back, and we just had one great guy, he's changing his whole practice from symptom-based chiropractic, okay, regular chiropractic, what you see out there, which shouldn't be regular chiropractic, to now changing to a principled office and doing upper cervical. And he said to me, he's like, you know what the biggest thing is? He goes, I was just an irritable jerk all the time. And he's like, since I'm getting adjusted, I'm feeling happy and loving again. He's like, I haven't felt this since my boating accident, like years and years ago.
Yeah.
No shit, right?
Yep.
So I had 8 months left in school, and I used to shadow different chiropractors when I was in school. If you're in school, do it. If you're out of school, do it. We got to all connect. There's a lot of good stuff to learn out there. And I walked into an upper cervical clinic, or a chiropractic office, and it was a really humble office, and there was just people coming from everywhere. So I went there. I left that day. My wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, I called her, and I said, there's something different about this place. And she goes, so how was it? I said, it's one of two things. I go, either this is a straight cult and everybody drank the Kool-Aid. And I go, or there's something to it.
Yeah.
I go, because this wasn't chiropractic that I was used to seeing. People weren't coming here just for symptoms. They were coming here to live their life to the fullest. And the people that did come for symptoms, they weren't coming for neck and back pain for the most part. They were saying that their seizures were resolving. Migraines after decades were resolving. Parkinson's tremors reducing by 90% with their adjustment. Bizarre stuff. Bizarre stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Did they teach you any of this in school, upper cervical? Did they talk about it?
Oh yeah, it was an upper cervical school. No, they didn't touch it at all. They didn't touch it at all. They talked about upper cervical for like a minute to 2 minutes, and there was two ways they would approach it. They'd either say it was complete BS and that if you're doing upper cervical, you're really shortchanging the patient because you're just like trying to be really quick and you're ignoring the whole body. And the second thing that was expressed by some chiropractors at the school was that it was dangerous. So it was either it did nothing or it was dangerous. There was no positive attributes that were ever given to it in my experience, educational experience.
Yeah, and even at my school, I remember we had a philosophy class, and one slide popped up on upper cervical care, and it was a BJ Palmer slide, and it said like hole-in-one technique. And I raised my hand, and I said, what is that? And they go, oh, don't worry about it. It doesn't work. And I was like, okay. And that was the only upper cervical thing that ever got taught at my school. That's it right there.
Yeah, the good thing is now with research turning around and BJ's work all being proven to MRI studies, the upright functional MRIs with the cranial cervical syndrome, and we have a CAT scan in our office, so we got a cone beam CAT scan.
Dude, really? That's awesome.
Yep. We're blessed to have that, man. So we've had that since October. And like when you have that now there's no denying the truth. You can see it through truth, you know? So it's changing. I think it's going to be changing in our time, Kev. So my wife goes, what are you going to do about it? So I got off the phone. I ended up calling the doc back, got a hold of the receptionist. Receptionist said, she goes, I'll get the doc to call you back. Doc called me back. And she goes, yes. And I go, I'd like to come back and shadow. She goes, sure, under one condition. I go, what's that? She goes, you got to get under care.
Yeah.
And I said, no, but I am fine.
Oh, you said no. You said no?
Yeah, no. I said, no, I'm fine. I don't need care. And she goes, no. It's not about how you're feeling. It's about how you're functioning.
Wow.
It's about how your nerve systems work. If you have pressure on the brainstem and you don't get it cleared, you'll never understand what this work's about.
Yes. Yeah.
So I said, okay. She goes, you're a student. I'll take care of you. I said, okay.
Who's this doctor?
It was Dr. Irina Damchuk in Rochester.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she practices NUCA. I got under care. The rest is history. It wasn't all fun. There was a lot of retracing, and there was a lot of stuff going on in the first 2 months. But within 2 months, I noticed that my symptoms improved by 50% because I used to journal everything because I was trying to self-diagnose. Right. And it was within 10 months, I got my life back.
Yeah. Loved how you mentioned it wasn't an overnight. A lot of people are looking for that overnight fix, and with upper cervical, it's a healing process. You'll have a couple good days, and then you'll be feeling all the symptoms again. It's like a roller coaster, up and down, but slowly but surely, you do get your health back.
It's because it works with health.
Yes. You feel healing.
Symptom alleviation, and that's the goal. Yeah. It's complete hogwash. That's how you're going to hurt patients. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like the body's smart. The body knows what it's doing. Your innate intelligence knows what it's doing. So for instance, if somebody overdoes it in the garden, and somebody's using hop, pack, stim, ultrasound, whatever the heck you want to do under the sun to try and reduce the pain, those same patients are going to injure their shoulder worse because their innate intelligence had inflammation processes and all the rest, and if there was damaged tissue, put pain there, right? Make your brain exhibit pain so you won't do more stuff and you'll take it easy and heal it. Yeah. So if you shut that off, you're going to cause issues. So it's like watering a plant is the example I get. You water a plant. If it hasn't been watered right for 20 years, then it takes 6 months, 7 months to start seeing some really awesome stuff happen. But you're going to get some lasting changes as opposed to just spray painting the leaves green. Yes. Love that. Right? Yeah. So the really cool thing about health and life is what it's our duty as chiropractors to share is that life is not the absence of symptoms. Health is not the absence of symptoms. So from 10 months after starting care, even though I was back to my old self to now, I'm a totally different person. I get checked every week.
Yeah.
And the reason is because when I'm not clear, right? I get checked every week. I don't get adjusted every week. But when I'm not clear, it affects my whole life and outlook. I couldn't run a successful office. I couldn't care for someone. I couldn't love for someone and be present with them and give them the best adjustment.
Yes, I completely agree. I popped out of alignment on Monday, and my whole world started coming in on me. I was like, I can't even take x-rays on this person right now because my anxiety level came back. I got adjusted again, completely different person. And I was good again, and I was amped up about chiropractic again. It's amazing how that works.
That's the thing. And a lot of times, too, like a lot of us, we could be guilty of this, upper cervical chiropractors, right? Like we could get tied on the outcomes because really, if you want to see the miracles, you got to adjust the upper cervicals. You can do other stuff, too. There's nothing wrong with it if you can neurologically prove it. But you have to clear C1 and C2. You have to clear them. And the fact of the matter is that chiropractic isn't about the alleviation of symptoms. It's about getting people to express life fully.
Yes.
And when someone's nervous system is clear, when they're firing, let's say they're functioning, communication from brain to body is, let's say, 98% as opposed to 72. I'm telling you, that's a totally different life to live.
Yes. Definitely.
And these people are our mothers, our fathers, our employees, our employers, our pilots, our bus drivers. They're all these different people. Like everybody should be firing, and their nervous system should be firing at 100% so they can live life to the fullest.
Yes.
That's our goal as chiropractors. Like we got to make sure we're sharing that message. And you know what? Yeah, smoke will go away. You clear the fire out. Yeah, you'll see miracles. You'll see people in wheelchairs walking. I've seen it in my office.
Yep.
You'll see seizures stop. Like little Anthony, 2 months from 10 months, had seizures. He had a rare genetic disorder. They said there was 11 in the world. We got him adjusted. The gene stopped expressing itself. He hasn't had a seizure in a year and a half.
Amazing.
Right? Yeah. And on top of that, he got his life back. He was then starting to build up his muscles physically. He could hold up his head within a week after the first adjustment. He's now starting to crawl, or he's now starting to walk, and he's speaking. Like, you know, that's life. That's the expression of life. That's not elimination of seizures.
Right.
That's life flowing throughout the body.
Yep. And, I mean, you and I both know that true health comes from the inside out. And that's exactly what we're doing when we clear the upper cervical spine.
Yep. You got it. It's an inside job. It's all about neurological communication. All life starts at the nervous system. So chiropractors, we got the best tools and profession in the world to help people get their life back. And it's not in the ultrasound, and it's not in the stim, and it's not in anything else. It's in their own body. See, the thing is that other things are good in life. And this is a conversation I have with a lot of people, a lot of chiropractors, not people, a lot of chiropractors. And I hope that I could share this from a place of love. I'm extremely passionate about this work because nothing else got my life back. It was an upper cervical adjustment. Yeah. And if somebody else was worried about my symptoms that day and was worried about putting a hot pack on instead of really perfecting the adjustment, I wouldn't have got my life back.
Yep.
So the fact of the matter is that people might need other stuff in life. That's life. Like a plant needs water, soil, and sunlight in the proper environment. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't water that plant, nothing else matters.
Yep.
Chiropractic is the water. So we've got to become masters at this. We got to devote our lives to be so darn good at this and to share the truth and know it's not about us. It's the person on the table that we're going to help change your life.
Right. And that's the purpose of this podcast. Like if you're doing other chiropractic techniques, that's great. But we got to get the upper cervical word out there too, because I mean, I had a kid in my office that had football concussions, and he was suffering for 4 years. And 2 months ago, he finds about upper cervical, and the kid has just been through absolute hell, and nobody has ever mentioned upper cervical to him. And so, you know, it's trying to get the word out and educating people that there is an answer for all of these things that are going on in their life.
The answer is life, man. It's the expression of life through the brainstem. You know, the fact of the matter is that I know it's very simplistic thinking, and I could talk science, but just to make it simple, if you got a kink in the hose, it doesn't matter what's going on at the nozzle.
Yep, exactly.
Right? You're choking off where everything is funneling through one area, the brainstem, going this thin from a brain, going right through here, and you got pressure here. Nothing else matters. Life's cut off. Yep. It's our job as chiropractors to share this truth, because if we don't share the truth, we're sort of screwing people their whole life.
Yeah.
They will constantly just be going in and out of different treatments, modalities, the new craze, the new diagnosis. And what they're doing is they're literally just chasing smoke if they have an upper cervical subluxation choking off brainstem expression.
Yep, definitely. So, Ed, what would you tell somebody, you know, because some people walk around and say, oh, I feel fine. I don't have any aches or pains. I feel fine. Like, obviously, what do you think an upper cervical adjustment can do for those people?
Well, what I would say is that's a good way at looking at life. So I say to people that say that, I'd say that's a good idea. So I would just skip the oil change this month. Don't do your oil change on your car. Just wait another 10,000 miles until you start feeling it.
Yeah.
They sort of tilt their head at you. It's about the expression of life. It's not symptoms. If they're there, it's already been too long. Unless it was a traumatic injury where it just occurred. But if it was like it came out of nowhere, which is most people's issues, it's been there too long. So it's not about symptoms. Like if people say they feel fine, I'm like, good. Let's make sure you're working the way you should. Let's make sure your nervous system is firing at 100%. So if they're like, I feel fine, I'm like, good. With or without symptoms, let's make sure there's no pressure on the brainstem. Because we got to get you from 70% or 60% to 100%.
Yep. And I truly believe if we got everybody cleared up at the upper cervical part of the neck, that this would be a completely different world. My friend were talking about it the other day. It would be a completely different world.
You can see it with your patients. You'll see relationships heal. You'll see how marriages that were about to become a statistic with a divorce come back to life. You'll see people, the biggest pain in the behind patients, become your number one fans and allies. This happens all the time. Like they were absolutely lunatics. And then you adjust them. And you see the real them. You see the real Mary, the real Barbara, the real whoever. You see them, and you're like, holy heck, like, you are a beautiful person, like, you're amazing. And like, you just had so much brainstem pressure that like, it was affecting your whole judgment on life.
Yes.
And like, that's what happened to me. That's what happens to me if I'm out of adjustment too long. So like, I could see it. You see life come back to people the way they're designed to live. They're not designed to be sick and broken.
Yes, definitely. So, Ed, is there anything else you'd like to touch on? Upper cervical-wise, chiropractic-wise, health-wise? Just
worry about the patient in front of you guys. We got to share this message. We got to change the world. I know when people get out of school, they're in practice. They worry a lot of times about financials. I just went upstairs right before I came down here. I had to meet with my accountant and my wife and some like that whole group. My wife deals with all the financials. He looked at me and we had a 40%, I think it was 30 or 40% increase in revenue from last year to this year at the same time. And he looked at me and he goes, do you know how much money you're making? And I go, no. Because you don't know? I go, no, I don't care. My wife takes care of it. I go, because the number one thing is taking care of the person in front of you.
Yep.
So like if you guys are scared about financials, don't worry about financials. It's not why you're helping people. Just remember the person in front of you. Dr. Sid Williams used to say, you want to make more money? See more people.
Yeah.
You're in an upper cervical office. You want to make more money? See more people. Change lives. Hire more people. Get better equipment. Hire more staff. Find ways to serve more people because people are sick and dying and the rest will take care of itself. Your school loans will be paid off in no time. I promise you because I can speak from experience.
Definitely. That's great, Ed. So, Dr. Ed, what is your website? Where can people find you?
You got it. So my website is uccroc.com. Okay, and that's where all the information's on there. I'm on Facebook too. You could always add me. And if you ever got any questions, you let me know. We all got to stick together. We got to get off our island and we got to change our lives. And if you guys are looking to make a lasting change and change your heart to the point that you could serve better, and I'm telling you, and live abundant lives, you got to get to Dynamic Essentials. And you can check that out at lifede.org. I don't make any money for you going. Nobody does. It's actually really cool. It's one of the few groups or the few organizations, the only one I know of, that isn't trying to sell anything. And there's probably like 400 chiropractors there, most meetings, and a lot of them are upper cervical. So it's really cool.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Ed. That was amazing testimony and just a wealth of knowledge on the upper cervical spine and everything. So thank you so much, and I'd love to have you back anytime.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, brother. And you let me know if you ever need anything, too. Thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. My private practice is located in New Jersey at Montclair Upper Cervical Chiropractic. If you have any additional questions about today's podcast, other episodes, or any questions about Blair Upper Cervical Chiropractic in general, feel free to visit my website at drkevinpecca.com or subscribe to my YouTube channel at Dr. Kevin Pecca. Hope you enjoyed the show. Cheers.